Welcome back, Saints and Aints, to another episode of Music and Makeup. This episode, I'm reviewing new music from Kendrick Lamar, Nym Lo, and Boldy James. On the makeup, my search for a foundation that doesn't make me look casket sharp or like a birthday cake continues with the Estée Lauder Double Wear Foundation. I've been super into blush lately, so I'm excited to try the McGrath's Divine Cream Blush. So without further ado, let's jump into it, Saints and Aints. Boldy James and Harry Fraud recently released the Bricktionary, and this is Boldy's third album this year, so he has been working. For the eyeshadow, I'm using two palettes. I'm going to use the Morphe Gilded Desert palette, and I'm using the Danessa Myricks Lightwork Volume 6 Freedom palette. Don't know what shade I'm going to use yet, but I'm going for like a holiday type look, you know, something I can wear when I sit in the living room for Thanksgiving and Christmas dinner. First, the shade I'm going to use on my lid is one of my favorites here. It's the shade Molten, and I'm just going to use that on top of the lid. One thing about Boldy, he is very gifted at giving us multiple albums a year. And the thing is that they're always quality projects too. There is a big difference between just like releasing a whole bunch of music out of the sake of saying that, you know, you've been working and you're just releasing music, and then releasing stuff that's actually good. He's another one, you could tell he's intentional about his projects. Speaking of quality, I don't know if any of y'all caught Boldy at Camp Flognaw. I was watching on Amazon. Honey, his mic was on. Not a backing track in sight. He didn't miss a word. Wasn't huffing and puffing. Just a lesson. Doechii too. I'm going to take a lighter shade. This is Feel the Heat. Looks like a little lighter neutral. Feel the Heat, and I'm going to blend this out. So let's get into some of my favorite songs from off the Bricktionary. First off is Pressing My Bunk, and this is the song that starts off the album. I love the hook on this, and this beat is like really perfect for Boldy. You like him on like a slower, soulful type beat, so this was like right in that lane. I love the hook on this. I haven't memorized it completely, but that brick of him or her, no, we got the best of both worlds is like my favorite line on here. Y'all know Boldy good for a little D-rug talk. I'm gonna deepen my crease here, just a little more, add a little depth with this shade here called In the Deep. So another song I like from off here is Rabies, and this song features Benny the Butcher. I love hearing Benny and Boldy together, Scrape the Bowl and Weekend at the Perry's specifically. Maybe we can get a joint album from them. Y'all know how I like to say from my mouth to God's ears, it'll happen. So I'm gonna give y'all my favorite verse from Rabies, and it's the way that Boldy took the word check and used it throughout the verse. Checking on that red-eye flight, might have to check a bag. Checking out my room, trunk full of dope, follow that checker cab. Nike checks on my off-white, courtesy of Virgil. We ran the place so many times, now we don't need no rehearsal. That man's pen went to work on this. I'm telling y'all, Boldy pen is lethal. So another song that I like from off here is Cecil Fielder, and it features T Grizzly, another artist that's from Detroit, Michigan. I love the production on this song. The beat is really dreamy. It's got like a nice little kick to it. This particular beat is perfect for Boldy and T Grizzly as well. Voices really complement each other. So this song is definitely a win. My favorite line from this one is robbing Peter to pay Paul for 18 circles, a game of golf, 2 bricks on my shirt, just trying to play it off. I like that about the robbing Peter to pay Paul for the 18 circles. Next we got Shadow Boxing, and production wise, this is one of my favorite beats from off of this album. I love how the sample came like a de facto hook on the song. It's peppered with Boldy's ad-libs. I'm gonna give y'all my favorite verse from off of this one. Okay, so this is the verse. With the Chappelle Show mixed with the Weekend at the Perry's, all my fiends tweaking look like Tyrone and Ashy Larry. And the other verse I like from off here is I'm in the field real life, ain't no Pop Warner, was trying to tread thin ice, now we in hot water. I up the pole and air the stick like a fly swatter. Come on now, Boldy. Come on now. I'm going to put a little shimmer on top of my eyes. I'm using the Danessa Myricks Lightwork 6 palette, and this is the shade Rejoice. I'm trying something new. I got this little like silicone glitter applicator. It's from Morphe, and I'm going to try that to see if I can get better coverage on top, because the nails sometimes impede me like really placing it the way that I want to. All right, let's see how this works. Oh yeah, that's what I needed. All right, nail girlies, I have a win here. And I'm gonna blend that out, but okay, this is perfect. Just what I needed. This is where I landed with the eyeshadow. I added a little bit of the Just Watch into the corners of my eyes to kind of brighten it up. An overall impression of the Bricktionary is it's a solid project. As usual, I call Boldy like Old Faithful when it comes to projects. I know that the lyrics are going to be there. My only real critique here, and it's not really a critique, it's more of a personal preference and me needing to like adjust my ears when I'm listening, is Harry Fraud's production is a little bit different than what I'm used to hearing Boldy over. Harry's production is like very much so like a coke wave type of vibe, lots of kick drums and saxophones. And I wasn't so used to hearing Boldy over that type of production, so it was really more like a listener type of adjustment. The album is out now. It is linked in the description box, and if you have heard it, let me know in the comments what you think. In a surprise move, Kendrick Lamar gave us a new album entitled GNX. It dropped last Friday, came out of nowhere, and has really just had the entire world in a chokehold, has invoked so much discussion, and you all know I love that because that is what art is supposed to do. Just invoke a lot of conversation and people trying to find interpretation and meaning, and I'm loving this. Before we jump into some of my favorite songs from off of GNX, I'm going to prime my face with the NYX face glue. This has become one of my favorite primers easily. It really helps my makeup stay on. So first song that I love on here, of course, is how the album starts off, Whacked Out Murals. And this is a great start to the album. He really came out swinging and set the tone. And I love the vocals on here in the beginning. He got, I hope I'm saying her name right, Dara Barrera, and she's a singer and mariachi performer. And she's not only on this song, she's also on Reincarnated and Gloria. And I thought that was pretty cool. Her story of how she ended up on the album. She sang at the Dodgers World Series. And next thing she knows, she was in the studio with Kendrick Lamar. And the rest is history. There's so much that I love about this song. But specifically, I love that he called out that shit that Gary Owens said. And that Shannon Sharp really just sat there and didn't say nothing. So I'm happy he checked that and did not let that shit slide. My favorite verse from off this song is, I pay homage and mind my business. Then there's like some kind of blanked out part. I never lost who I am for a rap image. It's motivation if you wonder how I did it. And I like this particular line because a lot of people do lose their way in an industry trying to maintain an image that was either manufactured or one that is popular. Sometimes folks are willing like to go to whatever length for fame or to continue their popularity. And you would have to really trust in yourself to maintain like who you are. I really like that. He says just motivation is how I did it. I had no gimmicks, no tricks, just working. That's it. And staying true to myself. And sometimes you would be surprised how far you can go by just being yourself. Prime in 2 steps. NYX doesn't really blur. It's more for like holding my makeup. So I go back in because I need that like blurring and that oil absorption. And the Danessa Myricks Blurring Balm takes care of that. So I'm going back in with shade 9.5. And so I use mine this way. I use the little scoop that comes on top of it. And I just scoop a little bit out. I use the back because I just want to get as much as I can. But I just run it like that. And I put this on a palette. All right, and so I have it on this palette like this. And I just spread it around to get it into the brush like so. So another song that I like from off of here is Luther. And this is my favorite song on the album. The moment the beat dropped, I was like, oh, this is the one. Nice little love song. And my favorite line on here is, if this world was mine, I'd take your dreams and make them multiply. If this world was mine, I'd take your enemies in front of God and introduce them to that light. I love that. A man that wants to see your dreams come true and that doesn't want to ever see anything or anyone hurt you is top tier in my book. So I love this song. SZA was also an excellent choice for this song. I'm going to agree with Joe Buttons. Like, this is how you use SZA on a song. But perfect decision. The song that I like from off of here is Reincarnated. One thing that did stand out to me is that this song, Kendrick talks about going to past life regression therapy, which is something that is very real. I don't know too much about it, but I have heard how it's helped people. And basically it's through this therapy that you're able like to see all of your past lives. By being able to see all of your past lives, that's supposed to kind of help you in this one. I try to think of it like quantum leap, and somebody showing you the past, like maybe quantum leap of your life, what mistake it is that you keep on making that keeps landing you here, so maybe you can do something different this time around. But so he was a musician in a number of his past lives, and on here he says that he was a very gifted guitar player and a woman who sang on the chitlin circuit, and both of them met their demise due to the pressures of fame. And now we go to his present life. He's incarnated as Kendrick Lamar, another musician, and Kendrick says, you know, I basically took a different route this time. When the money came, I didn't let it change me, and when the vultures came, he turned his back on them. So when he gets to God this time, he's like, yo, what's good? Did I do all of, you know, the things that I'm supposed to? Did I reverse the curse? You know, am I going to be reincarnated again? And then God basically comes back and tells Kendrick that he was reincarnated as another musician that fell out of heaven and was one of God's best musicians. And basically he's telling Kendrick, like, through correcting his own actions in this life, he kind of corrected the actions of the devil, which we know is the angel that fell out of heaven. That's my interpretation, or what I got from it. But again, that's the good thing about art. It's one of those things to open up discussion, because I heard a lot of people talking about this, but I found that's a really profound concept. I do believe in reincarnation, so it's good that you're trying to like learn the lessons so that you don't have to keep coming back and learning it. I didn't even record this step, but I concealed under my eye and around my mouth using the Fenty Beauty We're Even concealer. This is in the shade 480N. So that is what I used after I primed to kind of cover under these dark circles and around my mouth, just any kind of like dark areas. I do that because if I don't, the makeup just ends up looking gray, and just no amount of coverage will help. So on to foundation. If you've been following me for any length of time, you all know that I am a neutral girly, and I've been on the hunt for a foundation that doesn't either look red or cakey on my skin. So I have here in my hands the Estée Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place Foundation. This is what the girls told me, so try this one. Not only will you probably find your match, that it will also stay in place. It won't look cakey. The girls swear by this. Jackie swears by this. So I'm going to try it. I'm using the shade 6N2 in Truffle. And we're going to just see how this goes. This is what the bottle looks like. It looks light, but I think that's the frosting. I'm just going to shake this up. I usually just roll it in my hands, but maybe shaking is a good idea here. Okay, and the Estée Lauder foundation I've been watching. See, this doesn't feel like it's going to be okay, but I've been watching enough of these that I know that it's meant for you to turn over. There's no pump. You're supposed to just turn it over in your hand like so, and this is supposed to be enough for your face. So we'll see. This feels incredibly light. Yes, it is. This feels very casket. Like, I think I just have the color now, unless it oxidizes. I like the formulation. I don't feel like this is the color for me. It feels too light, but when I was in the store, I swear it fit. Or it might be because of the blurring balm powder. But I definitely want to do a wear test on this to see how long it lasts. But it's very light. It doesn't feel like it would get cakey on me. So like I said, only time will tell. Only time will really tell. I'm going to wait to see if it oxidizes. Oh yeah, well, it matches more like to my neck, which I don't think is like what we're doing anymore. Okay, so I like it. Like I said, it comes out a little lighter in the bottle, but as I blend it, it comes out, it's a little bit darker. So I don't know. I'll say this is like my second favorite song on this album. It's so tough between this and Luther, but this is Heart Part 6. Use Your Heart is one of my favorite songs by SWV. So when I heard this sample and the way they had it come in, I just, you know, nearly lost my mind. And for the youth that have been saying that this is like some kind of new song, baby, this is SWV and Pharrell. Don't ever disrespect us like that. But on Heart Part 6, Kendrick gives more insight into the history of his career, and then also he gives insight into his, I don't want to call it split, because when people, you say people are split, like they don't fuck with each other no more, but his musical split with TDE. And from the song, it seems like everything is all love. Like I said, that's why I don't like to use the word split. And they were able to handle things amicably and have conversations instead of, you know, just leaving things really, you know, awkward. And a lot of relationships are destroyed that way, where people just kind of leave things and don't have to move towards reconciliation or understanding. And sometimes it'll just be like I said, misunderstanding. Two people haven't communicated, and you know, you just kind of living in your own vacuum. So I'm happy they worked that out, and you can see that the love is still there. Okay, I'm liking this Estée Lauder. Now that it's had a chance to sit on my skin, it's a good neutral. I see I didn't have to take it too far down my neck to match. I don't look red like an Oompa Loompa. Just want to see if it holds up, like y'all be saying, how it lasts forever and ever. I just gotta, a matter of fact, I'm going to see Tidra Moses and I'll wear it there, and that'll tell me how this works. So it's time for blush. Today I am trying the Pat McGrath Labs Divine Blush Legendary Glow Color, and this is in the shade Forbidden Flower. I love a good like dark red, dark purple, burgundy type color. I've just found that my makeup looks the best that way. I usually just do my blush right in here. So just right there. Not too far now. I'm gonna blend this out. Don't worry, don't fret. Alright, oh, I like it. Nice little color payoff. And I'll do like Jackie said and get some of that blush under the eye. Alright, so my other favorite song from off here is on right now. This is TV Off. And this features Lefty Gunplay. And this is one that immediately had the world in a chokehold. But y'all know what? This is another song that I think the marching bands would go crazy with. My favorite line on here is nigga feeling entitled cause he knew me since a kid. I'll cut my granny off if she don't see it like I see it. When I heard that verse, I said, is this play about me? Because honey, I live by that. Time and relation do not mean anything to me. Disrespect me and your ass is out of here. The days of me just getting through it, being around people is over. Oh, and this is the best part of the song. I love this. He said he's going Super Saiyan. Y'all turn this TV off. Turn this TV off. Turn this TV off. Oh my God, this beat is just insane. Listen, this is why I say this particular part, that is made for a marching band. I need to hear it. Pat McGrath, Divine Cream Blush, it's a win. It's a win. But it's Pat McGrath. I don't think I've ever had a bad Pat McGrath product, so I don't know what I was expecting, but win every single time. To brighten my under eye, I'm going to use the Janessa Myricks Lift and Flex Concealer. This is in the shade 14. I love this concealer so much. If you have older eyes or your under eyes are tired, this has caffeine, and so it wakes them up a little bit. Favorite concealer at the moment. And I like it because this little foot right here will only give you the amount of product that you need. I've heard some critiques where people say they just couldn't get into the album, that it was just too West Coast or whatever the case may be. But that to me is actually the strength of this album. I love regional sounds. This album is most definitely a West Coast album, more specifically a California album, which is cool for me because I love hearing music that reflects where an artist is from. Meg Thee Stallion's Act 2 was like that. A lot of folks weren't feeling it, but that album was an album that was to introduce you to Houston music and Houston culture. It really showed in the feature selection. Most, if not all, I think with the exception of SZA, everyone that was featured on this album is from California. The video for Squabble Up, if you have not seen it, that video is also an ode to Black culture and to California as well. I love that this album has a regional sound, and Kendrick is showing us some of his roots and the music that comes from where he is from. And I love that because I feel like we need to learn how to appreciate different sounds instead of commodifying everything so everyone sounds the same. I feel like this got really popular when Snap music came out out in the South. And instead of just saying like that's gonna be a down South thing, it felt like now everybody needed to have a snap record. And that's mainly like industry shit, because if they make you feel like that's the only way to be successful is by chasing this sound, I mean, that goes back to what Kendrick was saying about, you know, compromising yourself to get to the bag. When I first started listening to hip hop, that was the fact that hip hop had regionality to it. That was part of the allure for me. Hearing different sounds, different slang, different accents, seeing what it was like for us in other parts of the country, like what it's like on the West Coast, what it's like for people in Atlanta, what is culture like in Miami, what is culture like even in Buffalo. Because before West Side Gun and Griselda, all I knew about was the Bills, Wings, and like I didn't know that there were any of us like up in Buffalo, but through their music I was able to get educated to some of the things happening in Buffalo. I know at one time Conway talked about like the redlining of the areas and how the different parts of Buffalo have been like redlined into just like poverty and other parts not so much. That's what I think of like reporting on where you're from, like through your music. Okay, and so now to contour, I'm going to use the Fenty Beauty matchstick in the shade Espresso. And when I contour, I just go kind of just under my cheekbones. I know people be saying up and whatever, but for me, it's got to be under the cheekbone or really right under my blush. This is a very good album from Kendrick. Like I said before, it's a beautiful piece of art. It has invoked so much discussion. It's got one man out here filing lawsuits in a frenzy. Imagine if Jay-Z sued Nas for Ether. Imagine if Biggie sued Pac for Hit 'Em Up. Get in the booth. Get in the booth. Who cares? I tell you something, I hate when people get mad when they think the cheating that was working for them isn't working for somebody else. No, you just got to deal with it. This is like, it may perhaps your karma. Now somebody else is getting out on you. That is one person won't find no sympathy for me. Sometimes the universe is just delivering you your karma, and it's just best if we don't get involved. But that's that. Great project from Kendrick. Cannot wait to see what this halftime show at the Super Bowl brings. They say him and Cowboy Carter might be up to something, so you know, from my mouth to God's ears, we'll see. I have linked the album. If you have been under a rock and haven't heard it, that it is linked in the description. If you have heard it, sound off in the comments and let me know what you think. To set my under eye, I'm going to use the Pat McGrath Sublime Perfection Under Eye Powder. This is my favorite powder in the whole wide world. And this is in the shade Deep. Last but not least, we have new music from Nym Lo and 183rd. This is Ink Millionaires. This is an EP. This is the first release off of Money Ink Records. So now I'm going to go in with the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Press Powder, and this is in the shade 4 Deep. I always like to top my cream blushes with a powder blush, and I'm going to use this NARS, and it's in the shade Exhibit A. It's like a red. All right, so let's get into some of my favorite songs from off of this EP. This is Off the Hustle, and it features Benny the Butcher. My favorite line from off this song is, I'm from Harlem, name ring like my 2 fingers, fur coat, fox brown like I knew Inga. I like that. Excellent wordplay. I'm going to use some loose setting powder under my eye. I'm going with the Huda Beauty and the shade Sugar Cookie. I'm going to go and warm my face up because I'm still feeling a little casket sharp. I'm going to use the Juvia's Place bronzer, and this is in the shade Deep Dark. I normally use the dark, but that's been feeling a little too red for me, so we're going to try the Deep Dark and see what that does. And I'm going to do as I normally do. I'm going to go between the two. I just like how that looks. And plus I got this because I can use this. It'll double as an eyeshadow, like a crease color. Another song that I love from off of here is playing now. This is Lost Souls with Trap Hefe. And I don't know, I'm going to have to tap into Trap Hefe's music because this is the like second or third feature that I've heard him on, and I've been impressed. So I'm going to have to dig into his catalog this weekend and see what's what. The beat is just so extra soulful. Love the drums on this, and this sounds excellent in the car. I already gave it the car test. Favorite verse from off here, dropped it in the pot and always brought it back straight like cornrows. I like that. Okay, I like this bronzer a little bit better. I got bronzer placed. Now I'm gonna bring this all back to skin using my MAC Fix Plus spray. Spray it onto this puff and just lightly tap my face because I put enough on there that it just literally is kind of like dripping off. So don't need to do too much, and I just spray directly. A lot, you hear that? I spray a good amount. And then just melts and brings everything together. Before I wrap this up, I got one more line I really loved off of the song Money Ink. He said, push the button if I'm mad enough. Told him when you see him, better fire, man. That's when he picked his ladder up. Nice wordplay. Love the wordplay throughout this. But I've really been rocking with this project. My only gripe, I guess if you could call it having one, is that I wish it was a little bit longer, but it's an EP, so that was to be expected. So there will be a follow-up. So hopefully there will be a much longer follow-up because I love to hear 183rd and Nym Lo together. If you have not got a chance to check out Money Ink Millionaires, I've linked the album in the description box, and if you have got a chance to listen to it, sound off in the comments and tell me what you liked about it. This is the final look. I am so happy how everything turned out, especially the eyeshadow. That is the lesson in taking your time. Lip combo came out fire. I'm impressed with the way the Estée Lauder double wear applied. I can't really speak to like the longevity of it. We're gonna give it a test maybe tomorrow and see like does it wear the way that they say that it does, but I'm satisfied with the way the color matches. The music and makeup that I discussed today is tagged in the description box. Don't forget to subscribe to stay up with the latest in new music and in makeup. That's my time, Saints and Aints. Till next time, love you, bye.